Welcome everyone to today's Concern Primary Debates video workshop. The Concern Primary Debates is Concern Worldwide's fun educational programme aimed at senior primary school students. The Concern Primary Debates programme is run in conjunction with education support centres across Ireland and the Global Citizenship team in Northern Ireland. This year, the programme will run both online and in person. Concern provides all of the motions that you will be debating this year. Each debate has a proposition team who support the motion and an opposition team who are looking to disprove the motion. All of the motions that you will be debating as part of the Concern Primary Debates are based off global issues, the work of concern, or the lives of young people. In the Concern Primary Debates, there are 3 speakers per team: Captain, Speaker 2 and Speaker 3. All speakers have the opportunity to speak for 3 minutes, and the Captain actually speaks twice, once at the beginning and once at the end. Every debate also has a chairperson, and schools will each have a timekeeper. It is very important to know which side of the motion that you will be debating, so that you can prepare your arguments accordingly, and also to be mindful of what the other team will be bringing up in their speeches too. This is called refutation and rebuttal, and is something that your teacher will work on with you during the year as you prepare for your debates. In this series of interactive workshops, you will be looking at 1 motion per workshop. For each motion, we will be exploring the different ideas that the proposition and opposition team might bring into the debate. We will also be exploring how the motion connects to Concern's work across the globe. So let's get started with today's workshop and start exploring all the different sides of today's motion. We've also included a couple of classroom activities that you can do with your class or maybe outside of school. And we will be looking at how the motion connects to the work of concern. So enjoy! For today's workshop, we will be focusing on the motion, fines are the best way to tackle textile waste.
Before we dive into today's big debate, whether fines are the best way to tackle textile waste, let's warm up with a fun activity about clothing around the world. Textiles aren't just about fashion. They're part of culture, tradition and identity. So let's take a look at some traditional clothing from different countries where concern works. In a moment, you'll see a set of photos showing traditional outfits. Alongside them is a list of countries. Your job is to match each outfit to the country it comes from. Work together as a class, talk it through and see how many you can get right. Ready? Pause the video now and press play again when you're ready to see the answers. Good luck! Let's reveal the answers. How did your class do? Did you spot any surprises? Traditional clothing tells us so much about where people live, the climate they live in, and the materials they use. Great job, everyone!
Concern Worldwide provides life-saving and life-changing help to the world's poorest people. Concern has worked in around 50 countries and continues to work in almost 30 countries at once. The majority of these countries are part of the Global South. The term Global South doesn't actually mean countries that are geographically south on a map. It refers to countries whose economies are disadvantaged or underdeveloped due to unstable governments or the effects of colonisation. Why does Concern do the work it does? Well, that's because Concern is an international humanitarian organisation. Humanitarians work to ease the suffering of others. Concern is one of the largest charities in Ireland and has been working overseas combating poverty and hunger for over 50 years. Concern was established by a group of volunteers in 1968 in response to a conflict in Biafra, now Nigeria. Many people and children were starving as a result of this conflict, and so ordinary people fundraised to send assistance overseas to those who needed urgent help. This assistance came in the form of a large ship carrying supplies. Today, even though the methods have changed and cash transfers are being used more and more, Concern's mission remains the same: ending extreme poverty, whatever it takes. Concern has its head office in Dublin, but it employs staff in every country it works in, staff who know the local people and speak the local language. We work with many partner organisations all over the world to ensure that the people who need humanitarian assistance receive it as quickly as possible. Concern has 5 key areas that it bases its work around: emergencies, livelihoods, education, health and nutrition, and gender equality. Through our schools programme, Concern hopes to create a generation of active citizens who are informed about important global issues and actively make and encourage change in their local community while working towards important changes for everyone on the planet. Sign up for the Concern Primary School Debates at concern.net.
Today's motion is: fines are the best way to tackle textile waste. So now, let's break down the motion. Fine. An amount of money that has to be paid as a punishment for not obeying a rule or law. Textile. A cloth made by hand or machine. Waste. Unwanted matter or material of any type, especially what is left after useful substances or parts have been removed. This motion links to the following SDGs. SDG 6, clean water and sanitation. SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. And SDG 13, climate action. Textiles are all around us. They're in the clothes we wear, the furniture we sit on, and even in the things that we carry with us every day. Textile waste is composed of discarded clothing, sheets, curtains, and other items made from natural or artificial fibres. When textiles are disposed of in landfills, they can pollute the environment through the production of toxic substances and greenhouse gases. Globally, it is estimated that 1 full truckload of textiles goes to landfill or incineration every second, while less than 1% of material used to produce clothing is recycled into new products. The rest is landfilled, incinerated, or exported overseas, where it has a negative environmental and social impact. Fines create strong financial incentives to change behaviours, usually much faster than if one was to ask nicely. Penalties for wasting resources have been effective globally in other areas, such as food and water. As is, any of us can be fined for littering, as it pollutes our environment. So, should we be fining those who are dumping textiles for the same reason?
Concern Worldwide is an international humanitarian organisation. What do we have to do with textile waste? Because the majority of textile waste ends up in either landfills or incinerators, it produces huge emissions, contributing significantly to climate change. Climate change has a massive impact on the countries that Concern works with. Because of climate change, natural disasters such as storms, droughts and floods are occurring more frequently. In many of the countries where Concern works, people rely on growing their own food to survive. Extreme weather events such as drought and flooding and associated threats such as locust invasions make it harder for people to grow their crops and feed their families. To survive, many have no choice but to leave their homes behind to seek out ways of making a living elsewhere. Concern works with farmers to help them adjust to climate change and build resilience for the future. Concern also aims to always take a sustainable, green approach in our work with communities. For example, in Chad, Concern ran a pilot project turning waste packaging from emergency therapeutic food into solid bricks for use in construction. Chad was ranked the 3rd hungriest country in the world on the 2024 Global Hunger Index. Concern is working in different districts across Chad to reduce and treat acute malnutrition, which is caused by not having enough to eat and is most common in children. One way Concern is doing this is by providing ready-to-use therapeutic food. This is a life-saving food used to treat children with malnutrition. However, the packaging is often discarded as litter around the countryside due to a lack of waste disposal facilities. Concern worked with a local Chadian company, Caro Enterprise, to collect over 59 kilograms of packaging. This is approximately 12,800 empty packages to recycle into 600 bricks and paving stones for use in construction. Families receiving the ready-to-use therapeutic food were encouraged to return the empty packaging to the health centres and mobile clinics. It was then cleaned and sorted before being sent to Caro Enterprise to be melted and turned into paving stones or bricks.
Now it's time for a textile treasure hunt. We're going to be exploring all sorts of fabrics and materials around us, right here in your classroom and in your school. Textiles are everywhere, in our clothes, our bags, our curtains, even our cushions. But what happens to these items when we're done with them? That's what we're going to find out. Here's how it works. You'll search for as many textile items as you can find. For each one, write down 3 things. What is it made of? What is it used for? And what could happen to it when it's no longer needed? Could it be reused, repaired, recycled, or would it be thrown away? You'll have about 10 minutes to complete your hunt. Be respectful of your space and work in small groups if you'd like. Teamwork makes the treasure hunt even better. Pause the video now and press play again when you're ready to share what you found. Welcome back, treasure hunters. What did you discover? Let's talk about which of the things that you found could be repaired, reused, or recycled. And let's ask ourselves, what would happen to these things if they were thrown away? Every textile has a story and a future. Let's make it a good one.
The motion is: fines are the best way to tackle textile waste. This means that the proposition team agree with this motion and want to support it. The proposition may make an argument such as this one. When companies have to pay money for wasting resources, they are more likely to stop creating waste in the first place. In France, a new anti-waste and circular economy law was enforced in January 2022 to stop companies from throwing away or burning clothes they couldn't sell. Before this law, lots of perfectly good clothes were destroyed every year, worth 630 million, as reported by the non-profit donation agency l'Agence du Don en Nature. Now, instead of throwing away or burning textiles, companies must donate, recycle or reuse them. The risk of being fined up to €15,000 per violation has pushed many brands to make more responsible choices. This law is helping to protect the environment and make sure clothes don't go to waste. The motion is: fines are the best way to tackle textile waste. This means that the opposition team disagree with this motion and want to disprove it. The opposition team may make an argument such as this one. Fining companies doesn't help tackle consumer habits or teach the wider population how to reuse or take care of their clothes. For example, in some schools and communities, clothes swapping events help more people share clothing they don't need anymore. No fines needed. In Ireland, organisations like Change Clothes show people how to recycle clothes into fun crafts like bags and cushions. These ideas help the planet without punishing anyone. In fact, according to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, extending the life of clothing by just 9 extra months can reduce its carbon, water, and waste footprints by up to 30%. Learning and helping each other can go further than punishments.
Now for one of the most creative parts of today. Let's upcycle. Upcycling means turning old clothes or fabrics into something new and useful. Instead of throwing things away, we give them a second life. Got a t-shirt with a hole? Turn it into a headband or a dog toy. Old bed sheets? Make bookmarks or collages. Lost a sock? Make a puppet or a doorstop. But why is upcycling awesome? Well, it helps protect the planet, it's super creative, and it saves money. Over the next week, find one textile item at home that's no longer useful. Then, as a class, decide on a fun upcycling project. Your teacher can share your creations with us by tagging @concernactive on Instagram. We'd love to see what you'd make. If you need inspiration, pause the video now and follow along with the next activity. Make your own bunting.
Great work today exploring both sides of the motion. As you prepare your own speeches, remember these 3 top tips. 1. Research both sides of the motion. 2. Practice clear and confident delivery, keeping your speeches to 3 minutes. And 3. Always support your ideas with strong evidence. Keep debating, keep questioning, and we'll see you next time. Check out the Concern Primary Debates webpage for useful resources to help you with your debates.